It's a scene played out in millions of kitchens every single day. Your child starts telling you something, maybe it's about a friend who was mean at recess or a silly joke they heard at lunch. They are halfway through, excited, animated, and then you sigh. It's not an angry sigh. You aren't slamming cabinets. It's just that quiet, heavy, weary, adult exhale. The sound of a person who has carried a full day of work, traffic, and bills and has just walked into a kitchen that is, frankly, a disaster. But your child stops talking. The energy drains out of their face. And then they say one of the most dangerous, heartbreaking sentences in all of childhood, "Never mind. It's okay." You move on. You genuinely didn't mean anything by it. You were just tired. Adulthood is basically just walking into rooms and forgetting why you're there while responsibilities multiply in the background. But at Broken Trust Explained, we need to talk about what happened in that silence. Because your child didn't move on. They filed that sigh away. Think of it like this. Your child has just hired a tiny internal accountant. This accountant doesn't track joy, deposits, or interest. It has one job, to maintain a running balance of every time they felt like a withdrawal on your energy. Every time they see that look on your face, every time you're too busy, the accountant makes a mark. And the final balance it's calculating is a devastating belief. I am probably too much. My needs are a burden. We think this is maturity. We look at this child who is now 14, standing in the doorway. They start a sentence, they clock your tired expression, and they instantly pivot to a completely different, safer topic. You didn't even notice the edit, but they noticed that you didn't notice. They've become highly efficient editors of their own lives. They start managing your mood on your behalf. They think, "Mom's had a hard day. I can't tell her about the bullying now. I'll wait." But later so often becomes never. From the outside, this child looks like a parental dream. Parents and teachers love this kid. They are agreeable, low conflict, easy. But therapists meet this kid in about 15 years. What's actually happening isn't maturity, it's a slow, polite form of self-erasure. A well-adjusted kid on the outside, but a kid holding their breath on the inside, terrified that one wrong move, one real need will break the connection. And then, completely by accident, we lock it in. At a family gathering, you proudly point to this quiet, agreeable child and say, "You're so low maintenance. You never give us any trouble. I don't have to worry about you. You're my easy one." You meant it as a compliment. You meant, "I see your goodness." What they heard was a job description. Your lovability is tied to your cost. And children take job descriptions very seriously, especially when the pay is love. They learn to hollow themselves out to keep the peace. This is the origin story of hyper-independence loneliness with good branding. These are the adults who are the emotional load-bearing walls of every relationship. Yet they shrink when they are the ones struggling. They help everyone with extraordinary care and ask for nothing back, because asking still feels like proof they're too much. So, how do we reverse this? The same thing that built it can undo it. Small moments in the opposite direction. You won't get this right every time. The sigh will happen. But what matters is the repair. Go back. Say, "Hey, earlier when you started to say something and I seemed distracted, I want to know what it is. I have room for it." That return matters more than the original miss. Show them that they are allowed to cost you something. Because the real damage isn't the mess in the kitchen, it's a child who grows up believing they aren't worth the trouble. Are you proud of having a low-maintenance kid? Do you tell people you never have to worry about them? If you do, you need to stop. Because that compliment you're so proud of is actually a blueprint for their future loneliness. At Broken Trust Explained, we look at the invisible forces that shape our relationships. And one of the most powerful destructive forces is the praise of easiness. We think we're celebrating our child's maturity, but we're often just celebrating their ability to self-erase for our comfort. It starts with small moments, a sigh, a look, a moment where you were simply too full to hold their messy emotion. A child doesn't interpret emotional nuance. They interpret survival. Their brain is running airport security for feelings, scanning everything for danger. When they show you a need and you look stressed, they don't think, "Mom's tired." They think, "Something's wrong, and if I'm talking, I might be the problem." So they do the math. My need plus your stress equals bad timing. And bad timing becomes a rule. My needs are inconvenient. They become unpaid emotional assistance, managing your mood, waiting for the right moment that never comes. They stop asking for comfort and reassurance, and they only ask for practical things like rides or signatures. And we, as parents, frame this as a win. We say, "They're so independent." Hyper-independence isn't a badge of honor. It's a defense mechanism. It's a kid thinking, "If I need nothing, I can't be too much." And then we lock it in with that family dinner compliment. When you say, "You're so easy, you never give us trouble," you've just given them a performance review. They hear, "I am loved because I cost nothing." This praise tightens the rule. They become terrified of the day they aren't easy, the day they have a breakdown, the day they need you too much. That's the day they panic, because they think that's the version of them that loses people. These kids will hollow themselves out to keep the peace. They grow into adults who are surrounded by people who love them, yet they still feel somehow apart. They would rather absorb the weight of the world alone than risk finding out that their needs are, as suspected, convenient. The cure for this is messy. It's rewards for the bother. It's showing them that the world stays intact when someone asks for help. Let them watch you need something. Actually say, "This week was hard and I need a hug." Break the illusion that being strong means being alone. Repair the moments where you were too tired to listen. Show them that uncomplicated is not the price of belonging. Because the most beautiful relationships aren't the ones without friction. They are the ones where we are safe enough to be complicated together. Adulthood is a heavy coat we wear. Some days, it feels like it's 10 sizes too big. It's walking into rooms and forgetting why you're there while responsibilities multiply in the background. We all do it. We all get tired. And we all, at some point, let out a sigh when our child starts telling us about their day. But at Broken Trust Explained, we want you to understand that while that sigh is human, it's not silent. To a child whose world is built around you, that exhale is a message. It's not about the messy kitchen. To their brain, which doesn't do emotional nuance but is running airport security for survival, that sigh is a scan that returns a positive result for danger. They don't have the capacity to think, "Dad had a hard day at the office." They think, "Something is wrong, and I might be the problem." That's how a simple "never mind" in the kitchen upgraded from a sentence to a belief. The parent wasn't cruel, they were just full. But the kid noticed. Fast forward 15 years, this child has their life together. Apartment, job, the one everyone calls when everything falls apart. They are reliable, steady, the emotional load-bearing wall of every relationship they're in. They've been training for it since middle school. But look closer. When they are the ones struggling, they wave it off. "I'm fine, honestly." Asking still feels like proof they're too much. The permission to need is missing, and by adulthood, they don't even realize it's gone. This loneliness is real. Surrounded by love, still feeling apart, like there's a version of closeness they can see but can't quite reach. All because of that sorting system that never got updated. But there is no factory reset for this. The only thing that built it can undo it. Small moments in the opposite direction. Repair matters more than perfection. Some nights, the day is still going to be all over your face. The sigh happens. What matters is going back. Go to their doorway. Knock. Say, hey, earlier when you started to say something and I seemed distracted, I want to know what it is. That return matters. Show them that they are allowed to cost you something. Show them that being difficult doesn't mean being unlovable. Let them watch you be messy. Say, I'm struggling this week and I need some help. Show them that asking for support isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of a relationship that is strong enough to hold both people. Because whatever answer they feel from you about that single question, am I allowed to cost you something, becomes the person they grow into. Let the answer be a resounding, loving yes.